JPC letters. Gravity and gravitational field. Axial spin, as rotary movement, produces repulsion from other bodies of mass also in rotation or spin. Science understands this as producing gravitation and gravity waves. Due to the almost non-existent and vastly reduced axial rotation of the Moon, its substance and chemical composition is in part attractive to the Earth and thus has transferred all that is occultly liable, inclusive of proportional amounts of isotopes. Gravity is the effect of the attraction of the planetary entity, the spirit of the Earth, or of any other planet, star, or galaxy etc., drawing all things back to the Earth, or back to its central self. Thus, according to the gravitational pull of the entity, relative to its physical planetary size and mass, so is the shape and lines of human form taken accordingly. This applies also to the formation of all the forms in the lower kingdoms. DK places the effect of, or the force of gravity, to extend from two sources, one being the spirit of the Earth as it conditions all the tamasic and material forms of the planet. He also attributes gravity to the planetary logos. He gives more detail, read the Earth spirit in relation to the hold over the denser forms of the Earth. We must here note that the effect of gravity is produced on all solid objects equally, irrespective of shape, size and mass within the field radiation area of a given planet, for instance our planet. Each physical globe will produce its own unique gravitational field as previously illustrated. All planetary masses are special, or relative, to their own composition, and many planets are not dense or solid but are gaseous, and stars are plasma, atomic nuclear reaction. This still irrespective of size, mass and density, have their own particular gravitational field. How then if they do not have a spirit of the Earth do they have gravitation? They of course have a logos that in their own high place hold their body of manifestation together, perpetually drawing together the atomic and subatomic particles into a coherent whole, resulting in the pranic emanation and fire by friction of their system. Each globe, or star, or galaxy, produces this gravitational field that encompasses it, much like a planetary aura of prana and vitality, sustaining even the smallest flying insects and macrobiotic life that exists in its highest and thinnest atmosphere. Gravity is clearly allied to the great law of attraction and repulsion, equalizing and maintaining the respective distances between planets and stars within their respective systems. It is the great law of the Parabrahma, the Absolute. The so-called curvature of space-time recognizes the gravitation field or effect of this attractive force that bends light as it passes within the gravitational field of a star, as originally realized by Henry Cavendish in 1784, and Johann Georg von Soldner in 1801. Einstein, however, became the first to calculate the correct value for the curvature of light in this regard. Not all light is however attracted within the planetary sphere. Light is a particle, wave of energy known as a photon of energy, which is electromagnetic radiation, and is the material or form, matter and a physical phenomena of the second ether, and as such has mass and is subject to gravitational attraction within a field of gravitation, producing a relative curvature, a slingshot effect crudely put, according to the proportional strength of gravity exerted on the photoelectron, within time and space. Planets receive and distribute light according to solar and planetary requirements and in specific proportion as governed by the solar logos, and administered by the planetary logi according to evolutionary necessity. The notion of no gravitational force, or that it is a fictitious force, and that it is the curvature of space-time alone in general relativity, that is the cause of light curvature around a star, deflection of starlight by the sun, accounts for none of the above. However, we must keep in mind the natural rotary motion of matter, The rotation of the spheres of the solar system, of the constellations, and the entire vault of heaven, being spherical, indicates the circular activity of all matter and the coming under of spiral cyclic motion, as it is influenced by spirit. It is, though, important to keep in mind that light travels via, and uses as a medium, the second ether, and as such a light photon uses the etheric nadirs for transmission, and for our purposes travels as a beam of light, a wave with a specific frequency and speed, and from one point to another in straight line trajectories, though undulating wave-like, being the shortest and most efficient use of distance in time and space. A photon is considered as having no mass due to its light speed. However, this is contradicted by its measured deflection and curvature by a strong gravitational field as measured in curvature of space-time. Outside of a strong gravitational field, it exhibits no curvature or deflection of its direction. Light has force and can exert pressure on an object, thus a photon, though near massless, must have minute mass and in grouped form display greater mass or greater accumulative force. Light as photons exert their own gravitational attraction on other objects. Gravitational attraction must therefore have a close connection to electromagnetic force, being the properties of physical phenomena antimasic, or inert motion, and relative heavy rhythm of the third aspect. JPC. June 8, 2014. The Tibetan states, all physical phenomena as we understand the term have an electrical origin, and an initial vibration on the first subplane of the physical plane. 2. That light, physical plane light, has a close connection with, and uses, as a medium, the second ether. 3. That sound functions through the third ether. 4. That color in a peculiar sense is allied to the fourth ether. TCF 320. The law of the gravitation. This law is for the non-occult student the most puzzling and confusing of all the laws. It shows itself in one aspect as the power, and the stronger urge that a more vital life may have upon the lesser, such as the power of the spirit of the earth, the planetary entity, not the planetary logos, to hold all physical forms to itself and prevent their scattering. This is due to the heavier vibration, the greater accumulative force, and the aggregated Tamasic lives of the body of the planetary entity. This force works upon the negative, or lowest, aspect of all physical forms. TCF 1172. From Wikipedia. Gravity is the dominant force at the macroscopic scale, that is the cause of the formation, shape, and trajectory, orbit, of astronomical bodies, including those of asteroids, comets, planets, stars, and galaxies. It is responsible for causing the Earth and the other planets to orbit the Sun, for causing the Moon to orbit the Earth, for the formation of tides, for natural convection, by which fluid flow occurs under the influence of a density gradient and gravity, for heating the interiors of forming stars and planets to very high temperatures, for solar system, galaxy, stellar formation and evolution, and for various other phenomena observed on Earth and throughout the universe. This is the case for several reasons. Gravity is the only force acting on all particles with mass. It has an infinite range, always attractive and never repulsive, and cannot be absorbed, transformed, or shielded against.